So today we're going to talk about 5 productive nighttime habits in regards to living in a van or a car. And it's raining, so yeah, there's that. So first of all, I am the type of person where I like routines. I like the clear, the concise, the orderly, a lot of structure. It's just who I am innately. And when I first moved into a car, it was just a regular four-door sedan, and I was not prepared at all. Like, I didn't really think the process through. I had never kind of seen it done before, so I just was ill-equipped. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And because of that, the transition of lifestyles to where I was renting a room in a house to moving into my car, the transition was very, very chaotic. And not to mention scary. I mean, it was definitely something new, and so chaotic and scary are 2 really good ways to kind of sum up the first bit of my experience. So that's where these 5 habits stemmed from. It was really kind of like, how do I attach some sense of order and structure to this lifestyle to make it sustainable? So of course, this goes into the realm of morning routines, evening routines, or nighttime routines, whatever you want to call them. So anyways, before I go off and this is what I do, why I do it, whatever, as far as like nighttime, morning time, anything like that, I do just want to tackle what I feel is probably the most important. Because yeah, sure, having a morning routine, wonderful. But if you don't feel safe and you don't feel like your lifestyle is in general manageable, then what good is a morning routine gonna do you, or what good is reading a book before you go to bed because you're freaking out? You feel me? So that's kind of why we're gonna go over this first. And the reason that I chose to call these productive habits is specifically because these 5 things have enabled me to continue the lifestyle for a number of years with a degree of success. And of course, this is just me. It's not necessarily, I'm not saying you have to do these things, that you have to do these things at night specifically. I'm just trying to share some stuff that has helped me with you. And of course, feel free to add things on, do your own thing, just whatever works best for you. So number 1 is going to be communication. So one thing that I do is I make sure my phone is charged, because the last thing that I want to do is be in an area where I'm going to stay the night, something bad happens, and my phone's on 10%. Yeah, no, you might need to get a hold of somebody, call the police, look for directions, use your phone as a light, I don't know, take it and run, you never know. So I always try to make sure that my phone is charged before I'm going to get to where I'm going to be, parking wise, to go to bed. And then another thing that I do is I have an iPhone, so on my phone I have what's called the Find Friends app, which you can share your location consistently if you want to. I won't go into the details of the app. The point is that you can share your location. So there are a couple of people, friends and family, that I have on there that are constantly, they could literally pull up their Find Friends app right now, and I would pop up as a little dot on their phone, and they would be able to see exactly where I am. So there are some times where I'm going to go somewhere that does not have Wi-Fi. In that situation, what I would do is be mindful of that. I would text my sister, my mom, a friend, probably all of them, just to be safe. I will just text them and be like, hey, this is where I'm gonna be. There's not really any service here, so you're probably not gonna hear from me, but I will hit you up in a couple of days. And then I'll give them a rough estimate as to when, so that way they know that if there's an extended amount of time where they don't hear from me, that something is wrong, that maybe they should, try and find me or something. So yeah, just as far as communication goes, I try to always keep my phone charged and then just always let somebody know where I'm at. And I kind of do that every night before I go to bed. The second thing would be to clean. Again, just as all of these, this is kind of just a personal preference type of thing, but I find that when I wake up in the morning, the last thing I want to do is clean up from yesterday. So again, before I go to bed, I just make sure to clean off whatever dishes I used that day, put away anything that's kind of just laying around that I didn't get to earlier, and just in general tidy up the van. It just makes me sleep better, and then when I wake up, the van is clean and I'm ready to start a new day. That was something that I really struggled with when I first began doing this and I lived in a car, is that I would get really I don't know, I guess frustrated or anxious because there was stuff everywhere all the time, and it didn't really have a place, and it's just really a lot of clutter. A lot of clutter. And once I finally figured out how to downsize appropriately and really only keep the things that I really needed, that helped a million times over. But then also just the act of putting something where it belongs, like everything having a specific place that it needs to go, and then putting it there, keeping it there consistently. That really helped me get a sense of order over the whole lifestyle, and it took away all of the stress that came with that kind of like clutter vibe, and then I was able to focus on other things and really see the good that came out of it and enjoy it, rather than be like, wow, I live in a car and I'm like a hoarder. So, yeah. Okay, and third is to plan and prepare. So by this, I definitely mean just kind of getting an idea for what are you doing tomorrow? What's going down? What do you have planned? So just kind of thinking about it, or if you're like me, I like to have I have a planner. So I look at that, and then that leads me into like work, supplies, and parking. The work one is really simple. It's kind of like a lot of what I do is working on my computer, freelance type of jobs. So sometimes there are deadlines that I have to meet, and so it's kind of like, okay, like this is coming up, I'm gonna have to turn this in a couple of days. So realistically, I'm gonna wanna be somewhere with Wi-Fi for the next couple of days. And then as far as parking, this again for work could mean that if I'm going to need Wi-Fi the whole next day, then the last thing I'm gonna do is like attempt to find some BLM land in the middle of nowhere and park there, and then drive myself hours and hours to a city. You know, it's kind of just being strategic about that. When I say supplies, what I mean is just like, if for instance, maybe I'm not working the next day and I'm going hiking, then that's when I will get my hiking backpack and kind of put all of the things that I'm gonna need or that I'm going to want to take on my hike. I'll put them in that backpack, kind of get that ready. So that's where the preparation really comes into play, because no matter what I am doing the next day, there's going to be some sort of preparation, whether it's simply just getting whatever outfit I'm going to wear in the morning and setting that aside, even something as simple as just like refilling my water bottle because I know that I'm going to get thirsty in the middle of the night, things like that. And then real quick, just before we move on, going back to number 2 a little bit, there is a little bit of planning and preparation in regards to cleaning as well, because you do have to do things like take out the trash, dump out your Folgers can, maybe dump out some water, just some general stuff like that. So these are definitely things that you can't just do anywhere. You have to be mindful of where you are. So disposing of things definitely takes a little bit of planning. I wouldn't say that it's anything that's like a huge headache. It's just being mindful of what you have to do, what you want to do, how you are going to get that done, and then just taking a practical approach to kind of see what would make it the most efficient process, what would make it flow and go as smoothly as possible. And again, what could you do the night before to make everything easier tomorrow? Number 4 is regroup. Just kind of going over maybe like, I guess you could say like your supplies or your groceries or your vehicle, anything like that. So like, are you about to run out of propane? Does your vehicle need gas soon? When was your last oil change? Is it coming up? Should you probably figure that out? And then of course groceries. Like, what am I running out of? Do I need more bananas? Do I need this? Like, you know, just what do I need? What do I as a person need? What does my vehicle need for us both to feel good, to work properly, to do what we've got to do, because we both have different parts, the vehicle and I, to maintain this lifestyle. So what's got to go down for all of that to continue to work as well as it possibly can? And then lastly, number 5 is precautionary measures. So I have a whole video that kind of covers safety tips, or what I do to stay safe while living this lifestyle, and all of those still apply, but for the reason being that I don't basically just repeat that video all over again, there are 3 main things that I do every single night along with these other 4 to just make me feel okay and safe and to where all is well in my world. So first and foremost in this category would be I make sure that if I'm going to close the windows, that all the windows I want to be closed are closed and closed properly and closed enough. And then I also check all of the doors and make sure that they are locked. The second thing that I do is I make sure the walkway is clear from where I am sleeping to, at the very least, the driver's seat. I don't want anything to be in the way in the event that something would be to happen, like someone would try and break in, or, you know, again, you really just never know what could happen. So in the event that I have to jump out of bed and get out of there as fast as I possibly can, I am going to want that pathway to be clear. Along with, I kind of count this as the same thing, of clearing the walkway is going to be whatever weapon, if you choose to have one. Of course, I definitely suggest it's something you are comfortable using and that you are legally allowed to have. But whatever weapon it is that would be your personal preference, I'd recommend putting it in a very specific place before you are about to go to sleep, that you know, okay, this is where that is in case I need it. And so I do that, and I put said thing in the same place every single night. And on the topic of preparation, that goes into the third subcategory of this topic, which would be the fact that before I go to sleep, I mentally, or I will get on my phone and physically look at the general roads that are around me. I will just kind of go over the general area and try and remember, like, was it a left that I took to come in here, or was it a right? Like, so if I'm leaving, which way would I go? And if I were to turn left, like, where's the nearest city and which would be the smartest option to take? So just going over generally where you are, the directions, and what route you would take to leave is something that really helped me feel more comfortable, because I'm kind of a control freak. And I think it's totally natural that, you know, let alone like as a girl sleeping in a van by herself, just like as a person, that every once in a while, if not always, you're gonna be scared, you know? And so I definitely was. And that's something that just kind of helped me, was that, like, okay, I'm as prepared as I possibly can be. I have a plan. I know what I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to be going if something happens. So that might sound like paranoia, I don't know, but it's something that comforts me. It doesn't create any like I don't start doing that step before I go to sleep, like thinking of all those things and then get freaked out like something, oh no, like something's gonna happen. It's more of like, no, I feel very at peace with it because I feel like I'm doing all that I can on my end. And briefly, just one more time, I want to say that I do have another video talking about safety. So what I just covered, that is not by any means all of the safety steps that I take. It's not all of the safety steps that I would say are necessary or that I would recommend to someone. That's just kind of a concise version and really just in relation to what I specifically do every single night before I go to bed. The other stuff is more like in general or throughout the day or things like that. So those are my 5 productive nighttime habits that have to do with living in vehicles. Again, sorry about the rain, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time.
The summer of my smile.